Also red button.
You did the red button
I
thing?
you have to do like a noise or a music thing or so, like some cue after, like immediately after. Every time you pressed it.
Yeah, dude. That's what happens when you boof the button. You gotta get in the zone. Okay, now you're doing it. You gotta get in the zone, man. That's how it's done. Maybe that'll be the thing. You know how XQC is like, you gotta get the juice? Maybe it's buffing the button.
The juice.
Yeah. Get the buff, man.
The fuck does that mean? I've never heard him say that.
You've literally never heard him say the juice?
I don't really watch him, man. I just see his clips. All I see are like the clips of him fucking freaking out and screaming about things and bashing his desk and breaking keyboards and headsets. That's it.
Yeah, well, to be honest, you're not usually missing much from his regular stream, if that's your
It seems like that's probably 80 to 90% of his content is just him. Like,
yeah.
Remember what Tony Hawk's game was it where you could have a freak out and like break your board and shit? Do you remember that?
Don't know. I always played Pro Skater.
You could like, yeah, it was one of them though. It was one of the like later ones, I think. Was it Underground or Underground 2 or something? You could like stomp your board and smash it if you stacked.
Don't know. I'm not a...
Can't remember.
Yeah. In any event, welcome to NULLSCORE, a podcast where a discount Dave Grohl and a jaded Jeff Winger discuss things that aren't going to waste their time killing a loser like you and are just going to go for your grandparents instead. My name is Hamish and this is my co-host and friend Jeffrey. How are you doing, man?
Who's Jeffrey? That's my name this week, I guess.
Yeah, that's
Jeffrey. Fuck, man. These are getting worse. I'm not too bad, man.
Worse. You're not too bad. You're
been
not
nice
sick?
and quiet at work. No, I don't think so.
No, you haven't been
work,
showing any symptoms?
I don't even know what the fuck they are, to be honest with you. I haven't looked it up. I haven't bothered to look it up.
I'm pretty sure they're basically flu-like symptoms, but today is all about toxicity. Not the type that you're thinking about, but a little bit about the effect that coronavirus or COVID-19. What are we going to stick with for this stream? Are we going with corona or are we going with COVID?
Let's go with corona.
Let's go with corona. The beer sounds more appealing, I'll be honest. It's a little bit less scary when it's a coronavirus.
Oh, we want it to be intimidating, then. So go with COVID.
Oh, yeah.
COVID-19. Conan-19.
Conan? Coney 2020? Oh, man. But, so all about how that's going to impact the gaming scene. Twitch scene, perhaps more specifically, because that's what you and I both know. Those are our backyards, as it would be. So what we're going to see and what we have seen the past coming weeks, and we got a bit lined up, eh? We've had a little bit going back and
kind
forth.
of, yeah. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's mostly just stuff that we've been adding to the script and like pretty much just typing shit in there and then going like, eh?
I love that we still call it a script. By the way, it's just
not really, is it?
it's just a.
It's like a list of ideas.
Yeah,
it's like a list of fucking ideas, and we just put shit there, and we're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, why not?
I love to think that we think that we're professionals, and we're sitting there like, boop boop boop. Look at all these ideas.
Not at all. I don't think this is gonna have any semblance of being professional until like 100 or more in.
100, yeah. Well, by then we'll all be memed out. There'll be no more memes left to spread.
Oh, mate, COVID will have already killed us.
Memes will be not unlike four-ply in that it will be in very short supply.
Impossible to find.
That's exactly right. So I think the first off the bat that we wanted to broach was... is the quarantine a big deal? So it sort of comes as a part of social distancing. There's this idea that you keep space and the whole... So, I mean, I suppose to put it at a baseline, right? The whole reason that we're doing all of this stuff, right? The whole reason that you're being asked to do a bunch of things, it's quarantine protocol designed to avoid a pandemic. Yeah? Did you ever play that game, Plague Inc.?
Yeah. I've got it on Steam, yeah.
Yeah. So all of it is designed to limit transmission as much as possible, right? So I see a lot of people complaining on like social media and whatnot. They're like, oh, like 27 and I go to the gym every day and I'm vegan. Like, it doesn't matter if I get coronavirus. Like, no. That's not the point. The point is if you're a carrier and then somebody else who's more susceptible gets it, then it spreads. Like, that's the whole reason, right?
Just because you're not showing symptoms or not in any sort of danger of dying from it yourself doesn't mean that, you know, the 20 old people that you walk past in the shopping center as you go get your fucking tofu sausages or whatever, and they're on their way to just get some meat, you could be killing them inadvertently.
That's exactly right. So, I mean, the point here is that vegans are solely responsible for spreading the coronavirus. No, the point is that...
No, that was it. That's the point.
no, that was it. You had it right all along, man.
You nailed it, dude.
Yeah. No, so the idea is to try and limit everybody else's exposure. And one of the biggest ways that they're doing that now is self-isolation, which it comes in many forms, but basically it's locking yourself up in your house or in your room and trying not to go anywhere for 14 days, which is the incubation period. And it's this sort of now this balancing act between vigilance and avoiding panic, I think. In a lot of scenarios, because panic would kill a hell of a lot more people than the virus will. I'll tell you that right now.
That would we're almost there.
Which is what?
I feel like we're almost there.
I mean, yes and no. Like, I haven't seen any reports of rioting or looting.
Rioting in France again? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I saw a video this morning. Yep.
Yeah, but okay, never mind. So
they'll riot over like strong winds or something. They'll riot over fucking anything. So it's not
they
really
rioted
surprising.
Over fuel recently, didn't they? Like petrol prices?
Man, who knows? Maybe we should do a France every time there's something that we don't like. That we just a whole of Australia riots.
Just do a France. Viva la revolution.
Just chuck a France and start tipping over cars and setting fire to wheelie bins and shit. Yeah, fuck yous. Fix the fucking NBN, you fucking dogs.
It sounds like a pretty wild ride, to be honest. But ever since this self-isolation and quarantine protocol got announced, everybody's been asked to stay indoors. Of course, Australian PM called for a ban on 500 or more outside, 100 or less inside. And there's this sort of meme at the moment where everybody's saying, quarantine, being isolated, the rest of the world, this is horrible. I don't get to see my friends. Gamers, I've been training for this my whole life.
Well, that's why it's the first thing I added to the script. It's I mean, the question I've put there is isolation or quarantine a big deal for gamers? And I feel like for the majority of them, it's not really.
No, it's not.
Because this is how we live most of the time. We don't care.
It's
we do our best to avoid going out and doing things.
Well, that's the thing. I think a good proportion of the gaming community are introverted. I think they spend a lot of their time in amongst themselves and they like that control over social interaction. So you don't have that huge issue. I think Corona's still going to get you in other ways. I think there's going to be a lot of gamers who are very disappointed that they have to go to the end of their driveway to go and fetch their pizza because the pizza bloke won't come anywhere near the door.
Just drives past and fucking frisbees it out towards the front door.
Well, what's that scene in Breaking Bad where he throws it on the roof?
On the roof,
the pizza. There's like, that house.
Did you ever play Paperboy? Did you ever play Paperboy?
No.
Oh, fuck, I'm old. I'm definitely old. Anyway, the object was to try and throw papers towards people's houses and you'd get points depending on where you hit them. Like you could land, if you hit it on their front door, you get points or, just close enough to the house or even in their mailbox or whatever.
But if you threw it on the roof or something, you'd lose points, I guess.
Or no, you could break the windows. You could throw it through the fucking windows of the houses.
Right, so you got points for doing some pretty wild stuff then.
I don't know if I think you lost points or you'd lose subscribers like paper route subscribers if you broke too many windows.
Gotcha.
But yeah, just imagine the guy fucking coming driving past, open his window, and the pizza guy just flinging a fucking pizza through the window.
Here's your pepperoni and mushroom.
Cheers, bud.
It slides down the window.
Fucking flies in and bounces off the couch, and the box opens and fucking goes everywhere. The dog's nipped 3 slices, and he's fucking off to the backyard.
The dog's like, yee. He's out the back.
Fuck yeah.
So, I mean, look, is it a big deal for gamers? I think when you talk about it from an original perspective and you say, oh, yeah, look, it's easy to isolate yourself. then yeah, sure, I don't think it's going to be a huge issue, but I think you're going to start to see the effects in like more than just one way. And I mean, I'm kind of jumping a little bit down here, but I think that this slots in nicely, is the strain on the internet infrastructure. That we're likely
especially
to see.
in Australia.
yeah. Well, I mean, we didn't really have a very great infrastructure to begin with. That's part of the issue. But everyone's going to be staying home. So we're getting a lot of people that would otherwise, just be watching Netflix on weekends or whatever. They're going to be here every day of the week. So I know I looked up an article. I found one from The Guardian. I found one from the BBC as well. I'll send you the Guardian one and we can put that in the description. But Vodafone reported up to a surge of 50% in European countries as people shifted from working to home. People shifted to working at home and using Netflix and whatnot because coronavirus is keeping people indoors. I know a lot of people have had like sports teams and stuff cancelled as well. So a lot of people are moving more towards internet-focused or internet-based activities. And one of the most interesting things I saw was actually a Twitter trend, which was hashtag switch to standard. Did you know about this?
No. What's that?
So hashtag switch to standard was this idea that because everyone is going to be on Netflix throughout the coronavirus epidemic, and we want, above all things, to avoid that, infrastructure crashing or becoming horrible, is that if you just switch to standard during the coronavirus epidemic rather than high definition, so as to reduce load on the network, which in theory is an excellent idea.
I don't think that would be enough.
But will never work.
No. Because people won't do it anyway.
Exactly right.
Mate, it's going to take anyone who's got, say, like even a 32-inch TV, just 32-inch panel, 1080p. The second they start watching a show in like what standard definition, like 480 or something, as soon as they start watching that video, they're going to go, "Oh fuck me, Dad! I can't stand this. My life is over if I don't watch it in at least 720," and they're going to bump it back up.
Yeah, that's it.
No one's going to do this. No one's going to watch the shows in standard.
I mean, standard's 480. I could probably live with 720. I think if 720 is the only option I'd had, I think I'd be... I mean, that's unfair. I'd watch stuff in 160p if that was the only option I had. But I think 720 is manageable. I think 720, I wouldn't be whinging about that.
480 is fine as well. 480 is fine.
Yeah, 480 is fine, especially if you're on a mobile device. Like
people have just become too accustomed to having
they
become too accustomed to having 1080p video fucking everywhere on demand. Just watch the thing.
Do I think hashtag switch to standard is going to be successful? I don't think so. I think the amount of things that we've got with water restrictions and whatnot that people just go, and they just
actual important things and they don't care.
If you actually think that you're going to be able to fine people $391 for not wearing a seatbelt, and then you think that a call to action to change down the definition on their Netflix, you're kidding yourself. I think you're just going to have a bunch
Stop using your phone while you're driving. You'll crash and die. No, I got to get this one text off. Wash your hands so that you don't spread this around.
Yeah.
Nah. I got to go buy like 100 rolls of toilet paper though.
I also love to think about this idea that there's like this really socially conscious, like, a uni student, like 20, 21 years old, and he's sitting in his dorm with the rest of his mates at college, and he's watching 10:30 p.m. He's watching porn on his phone in 480p, and he's like, you know what? I'm doing the world a favor. I'm doing some ethically conscious wanking right here.
Hold up. Did you just say he's sitting in a room with his buddies?
Oh, in the college dorm. I don't know if they're all in the one room.
Well, that's what it sounded like you implied. Do you have porn watching parties with your friends, Vis?
Look, mate, I went to an all-boys private school, okay?
There's only one reason for me ever to watch porn, and it's not a social experience. It's not something that I invite.
Well, look, with coronavirus, you don't have to worry anymore. It's all about that social distancing, man.
Oh, no.
And you know what? At 1.5 meters, you're no longer in firing range. You're fine.
I don't know, man. I reckon there's some guys out there who'd have a lot of pressure.
Good old Johnny Sins. Come on the podcast, man.
Fucking shoot you across the room. Just for a laugh.
That cross map no
You're never
scope,
gonna get
dude.
that stain off your shirt.
Nah. Nerd. Guess who looks like an idiot now? Oh boy.
Fuck's
Jesus.
sake.
So
Wouldn't even make it 15 minutes before this got like.
That's true.
It's got bad.
Well, that's our one
Hey.
per podcast. That's our one per podcast.
That's our one per podcast. And you wanted me to say something about Killer Coffee in here too. So here's a good a place as any. I'm just gonna fucking have a break from this garbage to have a bit of a sip of my coffee.
You know what's not humiliating, like being in the same dorm as your mates when that's going down? Killer Coffee.
That's a horrible segue. They're not sponsoring us, and after
They're
that
not sponsoring
last
us.
thing, that they never ever will. Now,
Look, to be fair, we're not saying that we're not open to being sponsored. Killer Coffee, we
please.
love your stuff.
please give us some money.
We're trying so hard.
Oh, fuck.
No. So,
Do you want to move on? Let's
we
move on.
We probably should. So, your second question was about variety, Jim. That
Well,
was the other thing.
it was. Is this going to lead to streamers changing content a bit to add variety? Because I've seen a lot of streamers saying that got quarantined. Looks like I'm going to be streaming for 2 weeks. It's like, fuck, man. Like if you're going to be streaming nearly every day for 2 weeks because you now don't have a job to go to.
Do you think people are going to branch out and do different things?
I think they have to, like not just for their viewers, but for their own their own sanity. Because can you imagine? All right, so I like playing Tarkov, man. It's the game that I'm stuck on at the moment.
Right.
But if I was streaming every day because I was isolated, whatever, quarantined,
Yeah.
I wouldn't give a fuck. But if I was here 8+ hours a day streaming and I was able to just do that for 2 weeks straight,
Well, hang on.
I wouldn't play Tarkov every day.
Let's just do the maths in our heads really quickly. So it's let's say that you're having a big day of streaming, right? You're COVID, you've got nowhere to go, right? Let's say that you do an 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. stream, right? 12 hours a day. Why not? Every day, because you're dedicated. You got 2 weeks, you want to challenge yourself. That is 7 full days of content. 7 in-game days where you have to find something to do.
So there's no fucking way that I could play Tarkov that much, like in that space of time. I would have to play something else, and like that's not a problem for us. I think you have more variety than me for sure. Because you play roguelikes and stuff on stream.
Yeah, I'm about as decisive as a 14-year-old in a candy store. I can't. Whenever I have a stream game, I have it for like 2 weeks, and then I find something else that takes my attention. And I'm like, ooh, and then I'll go play that. I have staples that I return to, I do the XCOM series very occasionally. I mean, you know what? I probably wouldn't call the XCOM series a staple. I think that's more like an event. Slay the Spire, I'll play a lot. You know actually what my most streamed game is?
Probably Destiny still. Oh wait, no, maybe Apex.
Apex. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Apex Legends, I haven't played that consistently in months, but that is by far my most streamed game. Second only to
That was
second to
because
Destiny.
when it was popular, the both of us were playing it a lot. Like almost every stream was that.
Which,
I
by the
took
way,
breaks here and there to like make paracords or paracables, whatever the fuck you want to call them, to do the mouse cable stuff.
Yeah.
And the odd break here and there to play Quiplash, which is still like my go-to break game now because it lets me just talk shit. It lets me just make all the horrible fucking jokes that are swimming around in my head.
Quiplash
And
games
everyone else
are
is doing the same thing. So
dangerous, dude. I'm glad that it's on your stream.
yeah, never on yours.
No.
100%. Eventually, I'm gonna catch the eye of a Twitch mod, and I'm gonna get struck down.
We have some pretty wild Quiplash games on your stream, which twitch.tv/T1TAN5150, Titan5150 with a 1 if you guys want to catch that.
Well, I usually announce them a day or two, sometimes the day of. I try to give like a day in between if I'm going to do Quiplash. So people can have a chance to actually jump in because most of the time I play Tarkov and it's not super interactive for chat.
Tarkov is not interactive with chat, but Tarkov has good moments for interaction with chat. I think that's one of those things where, because it's so slow, once you've got a hang of the rhythm and the hot zones, I think you have a better opportunity to talk to chat. But you need to be alert. Like, you need to be alert so often.
I don't need to be paying attention a lot.
I don't know how Red
Flash,
Ops
I can
does
sit
it.
here and just
Yeah.
read. No, he has these moments where he has to ignore chat for a minute or two.
He plays primarily by sound, by the way. That's the way that he's like a bat. He's like this red-headed, mustachioed bat with a firearm, and he will annihilate
Must
anyone.
be flat out, dude. His volume must be flat out.
It's cooked. I've watched this dude play Tarkov, and I'll legitimately like throw my headphones on and try and hear what he's hearing. And about 4 or 5 seconds before I hear it, which by the way is a really long time, 4 to 5 seconds in a shooter, that's huge. He will be like, oh yeah, there's 3 PMCs moving this way and one's on metal. And I'm like,
You have to remember that because of OBS, what he's hearing is a lot fucking louder than what you're hearing.
Yeah, he's probably
if he had the game set in OBS the same volume he can hear it, his microphone would be constantly drowned out. So you're hearing a very reduced volume level compared to what he can hear. So he'd be able to hear things way before you.
And one of the things that's really interesting about Tarkov as well is for a game like PUBG, I'm always really anxious about cranking the sound up because the levels between gunfire and footsteps are so varied. But with Tarkov, with the ability to use some of these headsets, it flattens that a little bit. It brings the lows up and the highs low.
Well, they're all supposedly different EQs, but I feel like there is some compression, mainly on the Swordens. I notice it. I feel like there's some compression.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
that's why I don't know. They're my favorite headset to use. But anyway, this isn't supposed to be about Tarkov. This is supposed to be about
we could talk about Tarkov for a while.
I think.
No, the irony in getting bogged down on a single subject when talking about variety is not lost on me.
Yeah.
But yeah. So are we going to see the doc moving outside battle royales? Are we going to see Shroud playing Minecraft? I mean, to be fair, Shroud had that bit where he did World of Warcraft.
I feel like guys like Shroud, nothing will change because that's all he does anyway. His streams are very long. He spends most of his time there gaming. The doc is different. The doc streams are a lot shorter because he does other things. He does outside things. He goes to, I know that he goes to, what did he say? He does something. He goes to like gym areas, more or less. Like he goes to places where I think he does yoga or something.
To try and keep fit. Because his part of his brand is him being this muscled man. So
not so much muscled. Like, have you ever had a proper look? He's not that, his muscles aren't that big. He's just very well toned.
Oh, he's fit. He's fit.
Yeah, he's very fit. Yeah. He's thin though, dude. Like, have you seen his legs?
yeah, I've seen his legs. Yeah.
Well, he's in really good shape. He's not bulky though. It's very, I don't know. It's a particular kind of fitness. I think. I feel like it's like almost like gymnasts or like runners. You know how they
a swimmer's physique.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. Something. It's not like he's not one of the dudes who like goes to the gym, just does a bunch of fucking weights. He's like, yeah, look at my chest, shoulders, and back, and then goes home.
Yeah, but so the
he's
doc
focused on overall fitness.
Yeah, the doc and Shroud. These are two guys. They're staples of shooters. To be fair, they play whatever shooter they want. They play whatever battle royale they want. So they've got a choice of really 3 or 4 games, which is, enough to rotate through.
They're also not the kind of guys that I was talking about. So I'm talking about guys like, say, you would be an example. Me. You get quarantined for 2 weeks, yeah?
Well, I've
you
actually
decide to stream a bunch more.
Well, I'm probably actually a pretty good example. Not as dramatic as people getting quarantined for 2 weeks. But okay, let's take my situation, right? So in real life, what I do is I'm a lawyer, right? I am specifically a criminal defense lawyer, and I work for a charity in northwest Queensland, right? Right now in Queensland, the state district court and magistrates courts have suspended effectively non-urgent court matters for 3 months, right? There was a practice direction given out, and a practice direction is when they basically send, it's quite literally like a memo on how to do shit, right? That's what a practice direction is. And they said, right, you all have a permission to appear by telephone. You just got to notify us beforehand. No one's getting anything done in person without permission. And we're only doing bail applications urgently for either children or adults, and lengthy pleas can be done via video, right? What that means for me is that I can't go into court physically in a lot of scenarios. Right now, I'm being limited to attending court effectively on a Monday. We have a rotating schedule with the rest of the staff. I have to use hand sanitizer. I can't use the same pen as people on the other side of the desk. I have to keep 1.5 meters distance between a lot of people, which is really tricky, and like some of the airlocks and doors in courts. And then on top of that, my gym has also been persuaded to slow things down, or at least I took I made the leap to move away from the gym because I didn't want to like mix with 30 other people in a really sweaty, hard environment and then come back to work, right? Because I thought I would, it's not very courteous to the people I work with, right? So now I've upped my stream schedule. So it's back to what it was before I put a greater focus on a lot of my work and live stuff with the gym. So now I'm back to 4 days a week rather than the 2-day a week schedule I have. And I've got to find stuff to do. Yeah. A lot of my streams tend to be very flavor of the minute. It'll be whatever I'm feeling, which, look, to be honest, is not a great content creation strategy. And I think if I found a niche and stuck to it, I'd be doing a lot better for myself. But I'll just play whatever the hell I want. Right now I'm playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare because of the new... It sort of kicked off with the new Warzone mode, but now I'm kind of getting back into it, making some YouTube stuff. But I don't know. You might see me playing Gwent, which is the Witcher card game. You might see me playing Legends of Runeterra, which is League of Legends card game. I have a weird soft spot for card games, Hearthstone, that sort of stuff. So I think definitely from me, you're going to start to see a whole lot more variety.
If I get fucking quarantined properly, I think I might do the same thing, go back to card games, but I'm going to be an absolute fucking shit and just go play like Yu-Gi-Oh or something completely unexpected.
That'll be
guys
awesome.
are going to be coming to my stream going like, what the fuck? This isn't Tarkov. No, it's not. It's Yu-Gi-Oh.
Because that's the thing.
You got to stick around.
When you play card games, you have enough time to like take a sip from your water bottle or, you know, take your
talk to
ibuprofen
chat properly.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there are moments where you're playing a card game and you only get 65 seconds to make your turn and you're flat out, right? Just thinking, figuring out what's going on. Like, they're very good stuff, but that is a better paced game for streaming for most people. I think that's an easier bar to achieve.
There's been a few games that I played on stream just because I wanted to at the time. It was while I was still mostly streaming PUBG.
Yep.
And Black Ops 4 for one of them. But when I was playing PUBG, I was taking breaks to... this is when the game was starting to die. I was playing Hand of Fate. I don't know if you've played that before, but it's...
I mean, I'm going to do a quick Google right now. Can you hear my dog in the background?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, hang on. Let me give you 2 seconds. I'm going to sort this dog out.
Okay.
Busted, dog. Oof. So when I leave Ollie out with my girlfriend Red for long periods of time, especially around this time of night, she tends to get a little bit loud. But for whatever reason, when she comes into the study, she slows down and she's not as loud. So I'm kind of hoping that she just chills out and goes to sleep in the aircon. That's the hope.
The hope.
Anyway, Hand of Fate. I'm
Fate.
seeing it here, 9 out of 10.
It's a good game. It's fun. The second one was a bit... I know they made some weird decisions, but we'll focus on the first one because that's the one that I mostly played on stream. So it's an Aussie developer. I think they're based in Queensland somewhere. I can't remember the name, but
Australian studio Defiant Development.
Defiance, yeah, it sounds familiar. Anyway, it's a card. It's kind of based on like a card system, dungeon crawler, RPG sort of elements. It's roguelike, and all the combat takes place in like a third-person action, like isometric view.
This is a very
so
unique...
it's not randomized. You actually control your guy. You run around and beat the shit out of things, and you have to dodge. Like, it's not all stat based. You have to actually control the fight. I haven't played anything else like that. And it was a lot of fun.
Looks very different. Yeah,
but it was very different to what I typically play. So I found the people who would come in for PUBG, like towards the end of the night, the guys from the US who, you know, they can't catch my streams earlier. So they'd come in and be like, oh, you're not playing PUBG today. And they just leave.
Oh, wow.
And then new people would come and go like, ah, man, I've never seen you streaming before. It's like, yeah, well, I don't normally stream this. So I'm just taking a break from losing over and over to cheaters.
Yeah.
And desync and not being able to find a match.
God dang. So it's all just, you know, I mean, it kind of links into this other thing that you wanted to talk about, which is about switching games and how sometimes you see a drop.
Well, yeah, that's where I was going with this. Does it bother you? Like, this is more a question to you, I guess. Does it bother you when your viewership takes a plunge because you switch games? Because that definitely happens, man. It does. Like, if you get used to playing one game a lot and you have your regulars that are always coming in to watch you play that game and talk to you and whatever, and then you switch games completely. Like, that's it. I don't play that game anymore. There's something has been changed in a patch that I didn't like, or the servers are not working properly, or some other thing is happening that's making me not want to play it. I'm playing this game now instead most of my streams. Your viewership typically will die off a bit.
It tanks.
It can completely die, yeah. I went from... So when I was playing PUBG, I got up to a point where I was averaging about 12 to 15 every night, and then I switched to Black Ops, and that went down to 2 to 3 for like a week.
God damn,
People didn't give a fuck, man. Did not give a fuck. Because I wasn't playing Blackout. I didn't want to play Blackout. I was just playing hardcore TDM. And then slowly built that up over time, and then I'd switched to Apex, and it kind of died. Not as bad, but it still died off a bit when I did that.
God dang, dude.
Hey.
I'm trying to find my... I'm looking for my Twitch strike numbers because they've got... Or they talk about... Twitch Strike is a fantastic resource for this sort of stuff, by the way. Shows you a lot about what kind of games you stream and like how much that takes up of your time. I'm just trying to find it. It's like, what games do I stream? I'm almost certain it's Twitch Strike that does it. And they have this really, really awesome tool, but I don't know. If I find it, I'll link it. I'll send it to you in the description. But one of the things for me, I think my top 3 games are like Apex, Destiny, and then Slay the Spire or something like that. And those,
right, yeah.
Those are 3 different crowds. Apex is the Battle Royale shooter crowd. Destiny's more of they're kind of a group of their own. This like RPG shooter MMO sort of crowd. And then Slay the Spire is a single player roguelite card deck building crowd. Does it bother me when my numbers drop when I switch games? I mean, it's funny in that it bothers me because sometimes I don't have as many people to interact with in chat. I'm so small that one less person talking in chat is a noticeable difference.
Yeah.
So it's disappointing because I don't have the same interaction with a lot of people that I ordinarily would. I don't necessarily get so bummed about the fact that my number says 6 instead of 12, right?
I have everything turned off. I have no idea how many people are there.
Yeah, but I definitely think having less of an interactive chat bothers me. And this is to say, this is entirely divorced from your number of concurrent viewers. When I was playing Darkest Dungeon, I averaged 22, 23 viewers because it's just such a niche game, and I was one of the only channels that was playing with, you know, any sort of decent audio-visual setup. But not a lot of people were chatting. So as a streamer, it's a bit of a different experience. It doesn't, it's not like because you have 3 times more people in your chat, 3 times more people are going to be talking. It also depends on your crowd. If you get chatters from like Greek god streams or something like that, you're going to have a lot more emotes in your stream. You're going to have a lot more, people calling you a cuck. But by the same token, I wouldn't want the vast majority of female just chatters in my chat. Like, I don't want some dude telling me I look really, really pretty today and how he would treat me so good if I came to his country.
What do you mean? Send them my way. I want to feel pretty.
I love your hair today, man. Yeah, no, I think it depends on the crowd, not the size of the crowd. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it's the people at the party, not how big the party is. So does it bother me? Yes, but not because the number drops, but because I think sometimes it's a less rewarding experience. I think then you kind of just take more out of the fact that you're really enjoying the game that you are playing. But half the fun of Twitch is interacting with people and having that live aspect. So you lose a lot of that. You lose a lot of that if you're switching around a lot. If you're like soda popping and your audience will stick with you no matter what, then that's not an issue. But
well, that's the other thing I was about to say. Like, sometimes those people they'll come back in and just check, like, if they get tired of whatever the fuck else it is that they're watching. They'll sometimes come in and say, "Hey, when are you going to be playing X game next?" And then sometimes they'll hang around and chat a bit and they'll talk to you about the game you're playing and how they don't like it and why and whatever else. So that's still interaction. You're still learning about your audience. Like, it's useful. But that, I think the first time this was around the same time that I turned my view account off, so I couldn't see anything, and viewer list as well for a while I had off as well. It was when I moved from PUBG. Blackout wasn't quite out yet, so I was playing Ring of Elysium or whatever. How the fuck you say it?
I think it's Ring of Elysium or Row.
I don't know. Yeah, Row, whatever.
I don't know. However the community wants to refer to it.
And a lot of people who would come in all the time to talk about PUBG or whatever, or even just like to lurk, they just weren't showing up. I just wasn't seeing them like the entire stream.
They just wouldn't turn up.
Yeah, they just wouldn't come in because I suppose in that case it's the attitude that it was a PUBG clone, which it wasn't really. It was different enough to stand on its own. I think it's just that it wasn't as good and
wasn't as polished.
Yeah, people.
Polished is not a word I would ordinarily associate with PUBG, but
with PUBG, not at all, dude. Not at all. They've tried to polish it with fucking sandpaper, mate. Rocks. Yeah. Fucking pelted it with rocks. Yeah, that's where I was kind of going with that. Like, people sometimes they come back, so you see them sort of drop in and out, and then your numbers will go down. But then they typically come back. Anyone who was there at least to talk to you specifically, they end up coming back. Yeah, it doesn't really matter what game you're playing. And I'm wondering, like, how many of those have you had come back? Like, there's some people that just come to your stream no matter what. Like, suppose like Doofus. You see Doofus in there. It doesn't really matter what you're playing, even though he's not a fan of. I think he's not really a fan of Call of Duty, is he?
No, I haven't seen Doofus around a whole lot lately. But I mean, you get that with people. I think you can't expect to retain every viewer forever.
No, you won't.
I certainly don't take an interest in the same content all the time. So I think that's just one of the things that you deal with. I think there's people that are definitely there for you. There are people that are there for your stream, but there is also a good quantity of people that are there for that game. I mean, part of the beauty of Twitch is that there's a stream for almost everything, you know? So if you're in the mood to watch, you know, a drunk man play Rocket League, there's a stream somewhere. You know, if you want to watch some game from the 80s, there's someone there.
It's strange to me that I have at least two that I can think of, people who, and I don't think they're lying because I see them in my view list like nearly every stream. and they say that I don't really watch Twitch that much. I just watch your stream. I'm like, why? There's so many like I appreciate you being there, but why don't you watch any other streamers? And they're like, I just don't really like them.
Yeah,
Right.
you form a personal relationship with them. I mean, some people might be like weird flex, but okay. But it's literally like you never expect that.
I'm
to
not
happen.
really flexing because I'm still small enough that it doesn't. I don't think it matters that much. It's not really much of anything. It's just people that I suppose liked me, and they're people that I've played. I used to play with games with a lot. I don't so much anymore, but they've still stuck around my stream, and it's not because I decided to stop playing with them or anything. We just played different games for a while, but they still would hang out in the stream every now and then, see what I'm doing. They'll talk in chat occasionally, mostly communicate by DMs though.
Which is
But yeah, it's just interesting that that they've said that they don't watch sort of any other streams. Like that's typically the kind of thing that would be like if I had a close friend and I wasn't really interested in Twitch, but I knew that he streamed all the time, I'd probably try and give him a lurk at least, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to show a little bit of support, help your bro out?
Yeah. Like it's that kind of thing, but I've never met these people in real life, so it was just surprising to me, not so much strange, but surprising to me that they would go to that sort of length sort of for me, like to support my stream, I guess.
I mean, it's heartwarming, but by the same token, it's also very surprising.
My heart's fucking granite, dude. It doesn't get warm.
I got a
It's
debuff.
a fucking cold rock.
Rip.
All right, well, I guess I got to fucking hand it over to you, man. The rest of this shit here's yours, so...
Well, I mean, look, talking about having a stone heart and insensitivity, Caseytron was banned for a terrible COVID joke. God damn, I'm good at this segue stuff. She was on Twitch. Now, you saw this in the script and I told you not to look it up because I wanted to tell you exactly what the joke was.
Okay.
And I can tell you basically what she'd said was, I think it was either Raj, but it might have been Raj Patel. And somebody said, if some dude had coronavirus and he wanted to kiss you, would you do it? And she's gone, yeah. And then he's gone, oh. And then she goes, yeah. And then we'd go out and we'd try and give it to everyone else because the world's a better place without old and poor people.
Oh, old and poor people.
Old and poor people, yeah.
Okay, but I mean, poor people make your fucking Subway and your McDonald's and your other trash foods, and they deliver all the stuff.
I would
to
argue
you
that that's not poor people. I would argue that the poor people in this scenario are people on blankets outside bus stops. You know,
well, that's homeless. That's like that's the low. I don't know.
Well, that's exactly the people that would be
term?
effective. These are the people that don't have access to the resources that can help them. But the point that I was trying to make with a lot of this, with this specifically, is it appears as if Twitch has drawn a line in the sand as far as what is acceptable when you talk about this sort of thing, right? Because they've got TOS about offensive humor and whatnot. And I think this comes up every time we have a big event like this. And it's effectively, it boils down to, can you joke about this? Right? And I think the question's a little bit more nuanced, but I want to hear your take on when you think about coronavirus and you think about the fact that there's this potential for panic to do a huge amount more damage than the virus itself. Can you joke about this? Where do you draw the line?
Well, I mean, you should know exactly what kind of response I'm going to have to that.
I mean, I know, but I'm setting you up to give your answer, man. Reel it on off.
I don't think there should really be any lines drawn when it comes to making jokes. I also think that you should take your fucking lumps afterwards. If somebody doesn't like your joke and they want to give you shit about it, you have to fucking take it. You have to take... If you want to reel in the positive response, all the people going, ha ha, you're so funny, I love your comedy. You have to also accept that some people are going to go, you're a piece of shit and I'm never going to support anything you touch ever again.
Okay, so perhaps two examples of taking your lumps. One, getting banned on Twitch. Do you think that's an example of taking your lumps, or do you think that's an example
that's just deplatforming someone.
Right, so
that's just deplatforming them. That's a different kind of thing.
Right.
That's censorship.
Okay, so what if they took a partnership away, say?
Yeah, probably.
You
don't
reckon that
ban
would
them. Take the partnership away because that's so they're two different things. A ban is censorship. Taking the partnership away is removing Twitch's more or less their like affiliation. Like they're no longer endorsing this person.
Well, it's a clear divergence of endorsement. That's clearly saying we don't support that kind of behavior.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're two different things. And I mean, she probably gets enough fucking money off promotions and donos anyway that if they took away
I fully expected you to say OnlyFans then. I was ready for it.
Well, you said it, so.
Yeah, that's true. I've done myself.
The point is, she makes enough money that if they took away a partnership and affiliate, she'd probably go, yeah, whatever. Go fuck yourself. And now I can make all the COVID jokes I want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then the other one...
It's not going to matter. Like
the other example that I think is the Twitter cancel culture. Right? So let's say that you make a COVID joke and then the Twitter sphere, the internet at large, sets about DMing all of your sponsors and saying that you shouldn't support this kind of person. What about that? Because that's not quite censorship, but that's definitely an attack. You could even argue that's sort of that kind of cutting the legs out from someone. That's even worse than deplatforming.
If you don't like someone's content, you don't like their what they have to say, fucking block them.
Yeah.
Block them and move on with your life. Go find the things that you do enjoy. Focus on the things you enjoy rather than the things you don't. Okay? This is why I removed myself from Adam's community completely. I'm not going to keep going back there to complain about what happened. I'm just going to fucking leave.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what. Why would you waste your fucking time upsetting yourself, like looking at things that you don't like over and over, and then doing your best to fucking tank it and bring it down?
It took me a second to realize that Adam was a throwback. You were like, I removed myself from Adam's community. I was like, who the fuck do we have called Adam? And then I was like, oh, Adam and Eve, the mysterious traveler.
Like, am I making sense there?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
it's just a massive fucking waste of time and effort. Imagine being that fucking petty and bored and just having absolutely nothing going on in your life that you have to do that.
Yeah. So you think...
Why?
So this idea of cancel culture, I think you're very much adopting the approach of let them starve in a vacuum of your attention. Like don't feed them if that's what you don't support their content. It's very much you don't need to poke them. You don't need to attack them. You just leave them.
So let's use. I've told you before that I watch the quartering stuff.
Yep.
I don't always agree with everything he says, but a lot of what he I suppose reports on or news that he brings, whatever.
It's relevant.
He for the most part tries to remain factual, and he throws his opinions in here and there.
Mostly he's factual. I would disagree. I would say that the quartering is very opinionated, but I agree with you. I agree with you in that he starts with the lay of the land. He goes, here's the play, right? And he says, this is the situation in the first 3 minutes. And then he has 27 minutes of him ripping on somebody.
No, I don't think it's quite like that. He definitely does. I guess that's the entertainment that he wants to provide. But he also reports on things and gives you all the facts. And he does, as far as I can tell, he does his best to not leave anything out that might...
I would agree with you in saying that he's thorough. Yes.
He's very thorough. He even has come back later and apologized and admitted when he's wrong.
That,
you don't see very many of them
strong.
doing that. You don't see them doing that.
No. That's a big
Where I was going with this is that he has been... I don't know how many fucking times he's been attacked by... the fucking upset blue hairs that fucking...
the Karen Naish. The Karen Confederacy.
Karens, like the full on crazy SJWs. Like,
oh yeah.
I don't think that's a whole other thing. Let's fucking not get into that right now. The point is, they've come after him, tried to deplatform him, they have cost him sponsorships. They've cost him his revenue stream. If you don't like what he's doing, just
move on.
Fucking go somewhere else. Go somewhere else that is...
Starve him for attention.
Go find whoever the fuck it is who says the things that you want to hear and go support them.
Yeah.
Because every second you spend trying to bring Jeremy down, you're not supporting creators that you actually enjoy.
Go
You're
make-
not getting your message across by deplatforming him. You're trying to censor someone else.
Yeah.
If you legitimately think that he's that wrong and that stupid or whatever, let him do that. Let him, if this is how you think, that you think he's making a fool out of himself, let him do it.
make us fool out of
Let
himself.
people decide for themselves.
Yeah.
Don't try to cost him his job or his revenue stream or whatever else. Just don't support him. Go somewhere else. Go support the things that you like.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's also a thing where I think you should be able to recognize that people will occasionally do something that you don't like, and you can recognize that as a greater person, that doesn't represent who they are, right? When Ninja makes a tweet about saying that if you're not angry when you're losing, then you're an idiot, I don't think that Ninja is by default an angry person that wants to yell at the world. I think Ninja is very much somebody that's fighting for the legitimacy of esports and Twitch streaming and content creation as a serious business. And it is. Ninja makes a lot more money than the rest of us do, right? But I think if you looked at it in the vacuum of that one tweet, you'd have a very different opinion of who Ninja was as a person than I think if you did it as a greater view of him, you know? I have a lot of respect for Ninja. I have a lot of time for him. I don't watch a lot of his content, all right? Especially don't watch a lot of his TikToks. That shit's cringy as fuck. All right? Some of the TikToks that Ninja makes, oh boy.
I could not take him seriously before, but at least I thought, yeah, he's doing a lot for promoting content creation, esports. He's trying to to make it bigger. He's trying to build it.
Ninja's the mainstream face of Twitch, of streaming generally. Ninja is. Yeah. I think if you ask anybody in the community, I think they would probably point to Shroud, the Doc, or Pokimane, or XQC, or Summit now. But I'm almost certain that if you asked anybody else, like not within the community, they'll almost always say Ninja. So Ninja's still got a huge space in the mainstream media.
The problem is all
esports.
Those people that you listed, maybe bar Shroud, are very polarizing. People either seem to love them or fucking hate them. Whereas Shroud, most people that watch him like, oh, this guy's just pretty chill and relaxed. That's fine.
Shroud, I don't think has a group of haters. I think Shroud has a lot of people that are indifferent to him.
I've had somebody say, well, this guy's boring. Like, you don't know. You don't understand. He's just really relaxed.
He doesn't give a fuck. He's just chill.
He's just wiping people out, and it's just no effort for him. He doesn't care.
Yeah. He's stone-faced getting 19, 20 kills in a Warzone match. And then he finishes the match and he's like, yep. There's another one, boys.
Another win.
Meanwhile, I get a 20 kill game in Warzone and I finish the match with a headshot snipe and I'm just, in danger of ruining the leather on my chair. Like it's...
Break out the fucking Cubans.
Yeah, exactly. He's just, it's another day in life for him,
That's his standard. Winning is like his standard fucking thing, man.
That's it. So, I mean, one of the other things that I wanted to mention is, of course, we have a lot of big things coming up very soon. Of course, 2 huge releases tomorrow for us because we're recording this the 19th of March. Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing New Horizons, I think is what it's called. I'm probably going to get corrected here. I know Red is so excited for that. She's been pre-downloading Animal Crossing all night. I know Spud Hunter has been playing Doom Eternal on stream at nightmare difficulty. That has been amazing to watch. I sort of thought it was a bit funny that a game called Doom was coming out when we had the coronavirus and all these economic issues plaguing us, but I'm not going to harp on it too much. Okay, the joke was far better in my head.
I didn't even understand it when you wrote it because all you've written here for me is Doom Eternal releasing on 20 March. Bit ironic, to be honest. What the fuck does that mean? I thought you were making fun of my birthday. I was like, what do you mean, man?
It's your birthday tomorrow.
Me? Yeah.
Oh wow! There you go. Happy birthday, man! Are you going to play Animal Crossing or are you going to play Doom?
I'm probably not going to stream. I'm probably going to do nothing.
Just sit at home. Have you got the day off or are you going to work?
No, I'm going to work, man. I'm treating it as a normal day.
Fair enough.
That's what I normally do. It's just another fucking day, man. Nothing's going to happen differently.
Well, if you made it to this far in the podcast, make sure you wish Titan a happy birthday on Twitter or on YouTube.
Please don't.
Links
it's too late. By the time this comes out, it'll be Monday. It'll be days ago. It's done.
Belated birthday. Go back. Yell at him.
Don't.
Tell him.
Fuck.
We also had cancellation of some major events. So I'm going to put another link as well. I'll provide that to you so that you guys can have a look. There have been a huge amount of esport events that have been cancelled, specifically the in-person portions. I know a lot of tournaments are going online only, which is one of the benefits, obviously, of playing video games, I guess. But huge gaming events cancelled. E3 has been cancelled. The LCS and LEC League Pro scenes are going to be purely online. PUBG Mobile, the America's Pro League and World League have been postponed to an undefined date later this year. Epicenter was called off by Valve for all you Dota 2 people. The HyperX Esports Arena, 4 Pokemon tournaments from Toronto, Charlotte, Santa Catarina, and Salt Lake City have all been cancelled. ESL Pro League has also been providing updates for its Season 11 stuff. So a whole bunch of teams have dropped out from that series, and you can get a whole bunch more. There are just pages of cancellations, which is a bit sorry to see, but if I'm being completely honest, I'm not particularly worried. I think that just the format of having it as a video game and that ability to go online only means we're still going to get a lot of these these people that are putting a lot of effort and time into what they're doing. They're still going to be able to play. You're not going to get the same kick out of it, I think, as being in a stadium, but
it's not so much the stadium setting. I think for me, at least, anything that's like shooters that you're then going to be playing online instead of in a LAN setting.
Yeah, ping. Yeah, so, I know a lot of the Hearthstone tournaments are done online, but that's just because you don't need those extra seconds.
The ping's not going to fucking matter, like, really.
No, not really. I mean, there'd be some people that argue that, and they'd say that you're at a 4-second disadvantage or whatever, and that adds up over the course of a game. But
4 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got really bad 300 millisecond ping or something like that, and the delay is such, so. I mean, yeah, I think there's a lot of things where, look, obviously, if you're going to be attending any esport events yourself, be careful. If you're going outside, and I'm not saying panic and hoard toilet paper and, snipe anybody that comes near your beautiful mountain of 4-ply. What I'm saying is just be sensible. Like,
what he's saying is make sure you buy all the chest freezers that are available anywhere and fill them with meat. Just clear out the entire meat section of your supermarket.
And you know what? If you run out of beef, just steal your neighbor's pets. Put them in the freezer too. And
that's the next food source.
That's what survival's about. All right. This is what Bear Grylls has been training us to do all these years.
I can't believe how ridiculous it's gotten, man. It's just so stupid.
So look, just don't be stupid. Wash your hands. If you're on a bus, like, sit on the opposite row. Bloody, God. If you're going to buy water, buy 30, 40 litres at a time. Don't buy 100, 200 litres, right? I know whenever I go out to buy water, I usually buy it for the week, right? So I usually pick up about 40 litres of bottled water. I get those 10-litre containers, and then we'll just sit them on the bench because Red and I'll drink between 2 and 3 litres of water a day. Right? So you go through that. And that, to be fair, that's because the water up here is lead poisoned, right? It's because I live in a mining town. It's technically, the government says it's safe to drink, okay? But it's one of those things where everybody kind of just drinks bottled water and you go along with what everyone else has been doing because their kids haven't come out with 3 eyes. I think if you're in another region where tap water's fine, just get used to the fluoride, man. I think that's probably my position on it, to be honest.
I mean, it doesn't matter where I live. I have one of those jugs with a big fucking filter in it. So
yeah, but see, that's fine. You've got the filter in it. You're fine. You don't need to. You don't need to hoard resources.
I can use tap water. No, I don't.
Supermarkets have been allowing an hour for the elderly to go in and do their shopping early because people have just been rushing them out of stores. I go do my shopping.
Enough? Man. Old people in the shops move so fucking slow. I don't know if an hour is enough for them. I feel like they need 2.
And this is
They need
assuming
to
they
and
get
just-
there at the hour. There might be guys rocking up at 9:30.
I think it went like, what exactly is the hour? Is the hour after they've restocked everything? Because that's when it needs to be.
It's the
They need to
first
restock
hour of the
all-
morning. It's the first hour
so
of the morning.
they need to be in there so that they can get all the shit they need and get out before any fucking Karens come through and go, quick, grab 4 of those 36 packs of toilet paper.
Have you seen that video of those two ladies like fighting over a whole bunch of toilet paper?
Yes. Yep. And the manager fucking comes over and he's trying to like, you need to step away from this trolley, and this woman's trying to pull the fucking trolley away from him.
And he made a bit of a heroic effort. He's gone to step in there. He's made some moves, but
everyone needs to step back.
just too strong.
They're ignoring him though. They're ignoring him.
Yeah. So look, I mean, for the third time, and I feel like it begs repeating, be careful, don't be stupid. Right? Just take some precautions to make sure that the guy next to you is in better shape. So, wash your hands, cover your mouth, dab if you need to sneeze, all right? Which, by the way, is actually a legitimate thing. If you sneeze into your elbow, it's much safer than sneezing on your hand. So dab. Dabbing is now officially been resurrected by the coronavirus. You heard it here first. And don't freak out. Don't freak out. There's no need to freak out right now.
Just bring like a board with a nail in it or something with you. You have to get the shots.
I love how me being the like pacifist, I'm like, just chill out. Just hold on, guys. Whereas you're like,
be calm, friendly, look
chest
after
freezers,
each other. I'm like,
bats,
nah.
guns, board up the windows, execute the non-believers.
Make sure you've got your grenade vest with you so you can just run straight to the toilet section and open the fucking trench coat. Everyone fuck off. I'll fucking blow the lot up.
Do the helicopter. Scare them all away.
Helicopter?
Yeah, man. Might get you arrested. Oh, no, you know what? Before we close it out, I do have to mention one more thing because I thought this was absolutely ridiculous. A bloke in Italy has been charged with, I think it's called aggravating a pandemic, has a maximum of 12 years in prison. What do you think he did?
Coughed? Somewhere?
No.
Okay.
He was in a hospital.
Okay.
Does that help?
Where he should be, though?
Okay. He's in hospital. All right. And he has coronavirus. Okay.
Yeah.
Which he's not in the hospital for coronavirus.
Okay.
He's in the hospital. Yeah, he did. He's in a hospital to get a rhinoplasty, which is otherwise known as a nose job. And he concealed the fact that he knew that he had coronavirus for fear that the rhinoplasty would be delayed and potentially infected an anaesthetist, a doctor, and a nurse. So he's been charged with an offence with a maximum of 12 years imprisonment.
Well, which, it's not ridiculous. He deserved it. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, that's one of the things. I think I was putting it into perspective because assault occasioning bodily harm carries a maximum of 10 years in Queensland and grievous bodily harm carries a maximum of 14 years. So he's smack bang between punching someone and giving them a bloody nose and a life-threatening injury.
Oh, but he's potentially killed people.
That's the thing. Funnily enough, it's not the first case where this has happened. You remember that Brazilian circus performer that was spreading AIDS?
No.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So there was a Brazilian circus performer. I forget what his name was. It started with Z. I'm going to do just a tiny Google here. Brazilian circus performer spread AIDS case.
Oh, fuck.
Zabaroni. Yep. The Crown and Zabaroni, who was a Zimbabwean circus acrobat intentionally intending to transmit HIV to his girlfriend, was sentenced to 9.5 years in jail following deportation. So not the first time this sort of thing has happened. So big moves being made in
that's
Italy.
pretty different. The first guy you were talking about, didn't sound like he was intentionally trying to spread it. He just didn't give a fuck if he did or not. The second guy...
He put himself above the next guy, yeah.
Yeah, he did. But this second guy is like, fuck it, I'm just going to give you my AIDS.
Yeah. So serious business now. We're seeing actual criminal charges as a result of coronavirus.
Jesus.
Yeah. In any event, that's the effect that we think coronavirus is going to have on esports streaming and the like. Of course, if you guys want to watch the podcast in video format, you can catch it on YouTube. It's also now available in audio format. Jim, you lovely people can catch it on Spotify now. You just search NULLSCORE. It'll come up in the podcast section. Got that lovely new artwork. Of course, you can yell at us on Twitter. Those links are in the description. You can also catch us on Twitch live. My schedule's been ramped up and yours is pretty much the same.
The same.
Yeah. But other than that, man, I think this is us for the night.
No, it's not.
No? Is there more?
No, it's not. There is. So,
Okay.
sorry I didn't get back to you earlier. If this is still available, I'd love to come take this exquisite thing off your hands.
The
Car 98
Car 98K strap. What did he say? What did he say?
He got back to me the next day. Sorry, 2 days too late. Being picked up tomorrow. That's all he said to me.
No, somebody else got it out from under us.
But he messaged me the day after.
Yes.
This is an
emotional roller
mate.
coaster.
Yeah, it's...
I'm here for this. I'm here for this.
So, this is the whole message. The sling I had advertised has just been collected, which may... I'm reading it as he's typed it out, by the way. Which may be start thinking. When the pin fell out of the first sling, I bought another one. Then I found an original Car 98 sling at a swap meet, so replaced the new one. I had forgotten I even had it until now. The sling is in mint condition. You can have it for $25 if you like. So he's added an extra...
A mint condition Car 98K sling.
Brand new, but not an original one. It's like I'm guessing it's either like a copy, like a Chinese or Indian copy, or it's... I don't think it would be a real one. I don't think it would be like a new old stock sort of thing. There's no way that kind of thing exists now. These things have been around for what, 60, 70 years or something?
Long
Original
time.
Mausers?
Honestly, man, as much as I think having the sling would be good, I think the story's not there.
I think more than double the price that he was asking for the original one's a bit rough.
Nah. That is some Gumtree garbage. That's what that is. That is some proper Gumtree garbage. Rip the sling. F's in chat, boys.
Essentially, what I'm doing is paying an extra $15 for the pin to not be missing.
Yeah, for a working sling.
I don't need a working sling.
I don't need a working sling.
Car 98.
I want a story. That's what I want.
I wonder if I could adapt this string to fit on one of my guitars, though.
And no, it wouldn't be the same commenters by just removing the pin manually. Okay? It's not about that.
There's no story attached with this one. Yeah, I bought it brand new and then I replaced it and put it away.
Yeah, I bought it brand new, broke it, and then now I keep it. That's
not much of a better story, really.
No, it's not.
I
All
don't
right.
think I want to message him back after that.
I think he's all Dunsky. Is that everything, Jim?
I think that's it. Wait, who's Jim? My name's Jeffrey.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, Jeffrey. Is that everything, Jeffrey? You know the irony in, by the way, me calling myself a jaded Jeff Winger and then calling you Jeffrey. I'd actually not made that connection. But in any event, I think that will take us to the end of the NULLSCORE podcast tonight, and we will see you guys next time.
Yes, we will. I think so.
Run
Thanks
the
for watching,
outro,
guys.
Eddie.
See you next week.
See you next week.
See ya. God damn, dude. How do you fuck it up every week? I swear you do this on purpose so that when I go to edit it, I have to try and find a place to like put the fucking outro card. Fuck. Oh man, I was so tempted today. So they dropped, there was a delivery.
Yeah.
And it was all cleaning supplies, like for the cleaners.
Yep.
Which meant that we got, I don't know, something like 40 of those massive industrial sized 2-ply toilet paper rolls, the ones that go in the huge fucking the huge dispensers that you see inside vehicles at shopping centers and stuff. But the problem is it's 2-ply, and I'm pretty sure it's just like sandpaper with all the rough part taken off. It's just paper basically.
Yeah.
Slightly terrible.
All right, look, man, if you want to take that, life's all about taking risks. So, if you want to take that risk with your butthole, go ahead.
Interesting. Like, I don't know how, like, who makes this paper and how they came to, like, some fucking ruthless madman's like, I'm going to make a paper that feels hard and harsh on an anus, but it's so flimsy that like slightly pressing it too hard the wrong way, you're going to finger your own asshole.
Yeah, that's it. You're done. You're getting poked.
Just feel that little boop put through. It's like, oh, right then.
Welcome to hell.
Just fucking gave myself an accidental prostate exam.